This episode of the franchise, May 23rd. The Nuggets complete the sweep on the Lakers and head to their first NBA championship in franchise history. What are the Lakers going to do this offseason? Will LeBron even be on the team, or will he even be in the NBA to start next season? The Miami Heat 3-0 series lead on the Celtics, going for the sweep tonight, and MLB Power Rankings. I think this is the 7th edition of the Power Rankings. Before we get into the episode, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. You can find all of that in the description to watch or listen or to find additional content. You can go there. The Nuggets get the sweep of the Lakers, 4-0 sweep for the Nuggets in the Western Conference Finals, winning this game 4, 113-111 in Los Angeles last night. Jokic with a 30-point triple-double. 30 points, 14 rebounds, 13 assists. That's his 8th triple-double this postseason. That is the most in a single NBA playoff run in NBA history. Jamal Murray had 25 points. Aaron Gordon, 22 points, 6 rebounds. Michael Porter Jr. with 15 and 10. On the other side, for the Lakers, LeBron played great throughout the first half, played every single minute of the first half. He had 40 points to end the game with 10 rebounds, 9 assists, a single assist shy of a triple-double, and shot 15 of 25 from the field. Anthony Davis, he ended with 21 points and 14 rebounds, but he shot 6 for 15 from the field. He was not impactful in this game. And from a guy that is your second best or even your best player, if you're the Lakers, right, that is not a performance for Anthony Davis. And these Western Conference Finals, AD has not been at the top of his game. He has not been a dominant player like he was in the Warriors series at times and in the Grizzlies series. And like we've seen from Anthony Davis in the past, this series against the Nuggets, he was not himself. Complete up and down performances game to game. A lot more downs than up in terms of efficiency for Anthony Davis in this series against the Nuggets. Austin Reeves had 17 points. Schroeder 13. D'Angelo Russell came off the bench. Absolutely horrible in this Western Conference Finals series. I think we mentioned it a few days ago. He was averaging about 8 points or so, shooting like less than 20% from three, I believe, in this Western Conference Finals. He comes off the bench in this game and puts up 4 points. So no impact from D'Angelo Russell, who is a guy that you traded. Russell Westbrook, a first-round pick. I mean, D'Angelo Russell was one of the bigger pieces of the trades that they moved at the moves they made at the trade deadline, right? Acquiring Vanderbilt, Malik Beasley, and D'Angelo Russell. Those were the three guys you got from Russell Westbrook to really turn this team and this season around. And D'Angelo Russell had no impact in this Western Conference Final series at all. Was absolutely atrocious. The Nuggets are going to the finals. I don't want to neglect the Nuggets because every other media outlet is only talking about the Lakers and them losing and LeBron, and they're not talking about the Nuggets. And I think the Nuggets deserve their flowers. Obviously, they swept the Lakers. They're going to their first NBA championship, and they're most likely going to be playing the Miami Heat. Look, Jokic is easily the best player remaining in these playoffs, and second would be Jimmy Butler, right? And you're about to see both those guys potentially in the NBA Finals. So for anyone that says out there that a Nuggets Heat Finals would not be interesting, you've got to be the most casual of casual fans, right? You have to only watch basketball for the playoffs and only follow LeBron, Curry, the Celtics, the Knicks, the Lakers. You only are a very casual fan, like entry level casual fans, and not like this potential finals matchup. And you could say that the NBA would have preferred Lakers Celtics. Yeah, obviously ratings are going to be a lot higher than a potential Nuggets Heat finals. It's still going to be an absolutely tremendous series if we get there. But I mean, we're not going to be talking about that yet because we don't know. Maybe the Celtics come back from being down 3-0, which I highly doubt. But for Denver, look, Jokic is the best player remaining in this postseason. Two-time MVP. I think, honestly, he should have won an MVP this year. He should have 3 straight MVPs to his resume. And the way Jamal Murray has been playing in this Western Conference Finals and even throughout the playoffs, first round, second round, he's been absolutely stellar. He has been the guy that the Nuggets have needed since, the 2020 bubble when Bubble Murray was fully unleashed. And obviously, tore his ACL, rehab from that injury last year, came back a little bit, wasn't fully himself. But now this year, look, he is the perfect guy to be next to Jokic because they complement each other so well. They're both really number ones. It's not like Jamal Murray is the number two on this team, right? Jokic he's really a pass first big. Like he's obviously going to get his own. Dropped 30 points in game 4 against the Lakers, but he also had 13 assists, and he's able to find his teammates. And this Nuggets team has a lot of depth. I think easily they have the most depth left in this postseason, probably outside of. I think the next closest team would be Miami, right? You could argue Boston has good depth too, but those guys aren't playing good. But for Denver, look, Aaron Gordon is capable of playing great defense and being an offensive scorer. Michael Porter Jr. can stand out there beyond the arc and hit down shots. Bruce Brown is a great 3-and-D defender. KCP can turn on in any moment. This Nuggets squad is filled with talent up and down the roster. Look, I picked them in my preseason or my pre-playoff predictions. I thought they would lose in the second round of the Suns. Because look, you've seen it every single year before where the Nuggets made it to the second round, made it to the conference finals, and then they ultimately lose because they are short. Their injuries, they just don't have the cards fall the right way. But I think, look, the Nuggets have been preparing 4 or 5 years for this moment, for this team to get to the finals. They have the perfect coach. They have the perfect 2-star players, and then they have the great supporting cast around them to go out there and win an NBA title. So depending on who they play, right? If they play Boston, I think they easily win that series. But then again, Boston would have just came back from being down 3-0, which would be the first time in NBA history. So potentially Boston would be the favorites in that. If it's the Heat, I think that's a great series. Jimmy Butler is playing out of his mind right now, and so is the rest of the Heat squad, and we'll talk about them in a little bit. But look, Denver going to the finals here, first time in NBA history, franchise history for this squad, and all props to the Nuggets. All right, now let's get to the Lakers, because the Lakers have a lot of interesting things to go over here, because the season was a success for the Lakers. Look, you started out 2-10. You had a 0.03 or a 0.3% chance to make the postseason, and you made it all the way to the Western Conference Finals. So, although you got swept, although you didn't make a title run and win a championship, you still had a successful season if you were the Lakers, considering how you started the season. And that mid-season roster turnaround to get D'Lo, Beasley, Vanderbilt, Rui Hachimura was one of the greatest mid-season turnarounds, I think, in the history of sports. To start with a team that poorly constructed with Russell Westbrook and really no one else outside of LeBron and AD. Austin Reeves was pretty solid, but I mean, in the second half of the season is really when Austin Reeves turned it up to a whole nother level. Outside of those, LeBron and AD, Russell Westbrook was there, and you didn't have any other help. So being able to trade Russell Westbrook in a first-round pick and get 3 players that impacted your team throughout the regular season and through some of the playoffs was incredible to see. Now, obviously, at some points throughout the playoffs, these guys weren't impactful. Look, D'Angelo Russell did nothing in the conference finals. Vanderbilt didn't play in Game 4, and Beasley, I don't even think, has touched the floor in the Western Conference Finals. But you were able to turn your season around from out of the postseason, the 13th seed in the West, all the way to the Western Conference Finals. There are still a lot of things that can happen this offseason. And I think, first of all, we have to talk about the potential of LeBron James retiring. And he mentioned it yesterday in his post-game press conference. I mean, he was basically saying, look, when it comes to the game and the world of basketball, I have a lot to think about. And I'm kind of paraphrasing right there. But LeBron is going to be seriously thinking about retirement. And I don't think he will retire. I don't think he's going to retire this year. Look, I think if LeBron's going to retire, he's going to announce it. He's going to say, this is my last season, so he can get a farewell tour. He's not just going to spontaneously retire, in 2-3 weeks. I do not see that happening at all. I'd say there's a 1% chance LeBron James retires this offseason. I mean, he said he still thinks he's better than at least 90 to 95% of the league. So and I would agree with that, right? I know in the postseason, in this conference finals, look, LeBron was very efficient. His foot was bothering him basically the whole season long since he injured it. What was it, in like February or March when he injured his foot? Um, you can tell he's never came back to 100%. He's going to be 39 years old, entering year 21 of his NBA career. And yeah, he was very inefficient in this postseason run. But look, you still know how dominant he is, how high of a basketball IQ he has, and he's still the second greatest player of all time, right? He's capable, I think, with the right supporting cast around him and guys that are able to elevate him and play on a consistent basis. He is still capable of winning a title with a team. Look, if Anthony Davis was more consistent, if he was a consistent player throughout this series against the Nuggets, it could be a completely different script for the Lakers, and they could potentially be in the NBA finals right now. So look, LeBron's mulling retirement. I don't think he retires, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's the possibility that he does explore leaving the Lakers. He's on a 1-year deal. He's technically on a 2-year deal. He has next season fully guaranteed, and then the year after that, 2024 offseason, he has a player option where he could potentially decline it, especially if his son, Bronny, is potentially going to be a first-round draft pick or he enters the NBA draft. You could potentially see LeBron opt out and go play with him. But there's still the possibility that, look, LeBron does join a new team this offseason. I know he still has 1 year left, but he could threaten the Lakers and say, I want to be traded because I'm not going to re-sign or I'm going to retire and you won't get anything for me. There are odds to land LeBron if he leaves the Lakers. The Knicks are the favorites at 3-1 odds, followed by the Sixers at 7-2, Clippers at 5-1, Cavs at 7-1, Suns at 8-1, Warriors 9-1, Mavericks 10-1. I don't really know where LeBron would go if he was to leave, right? I mean, the Knicks is a nice idea. Pair with Jalen Brunson. I think they're going to move on from Julius Randle and RJ Barrett. You could potentially move on from those guys, potentially ship them to LA for LeBron. Then you have LeBron, Jalen Brunson, and the rest of that Knicks foundational, that team over there that made it to the second round, took the Heat to 6 games they took the Miami Heat to in the second round of the postseason. Philly, I don't really know. I don't think LeBron's leaving. I don't think he's retiring. But I do think it is something to note that he is taking the time to think about his future. And I think he probably has max 2 years left. I think he'll play next season. And I think if Bronny is capable of being drafted as a first-round pick in the 2024 NBA draft, and he enters his name in, LeBron will play 1 season with Bronny, and that'll be his farewell tour and his passing of the torch moment to Bronny James. But there's a lot of other stuff the Lakers have to look for this offseason. Austin Reeves is a free agent. Rui Hachimura is a free agent. D'Angelo Russell is a free agent. Now, luckily for the Lakers, Reeves and Rui are restricted free agents. Austin Reeves is going to get at least $100 million over the course of 4 years from a team. He has been so valuable, and you can see how impactful he has been on the offensive end and at times on the defensive end too. He is a true asset to have on a championship team, and he's going to get $100 million plus this offseason. And luckily for the Lakers, they will have the opportunity to bring him back. And same thing for Rui Hachimura, who's been a great defender, great three-point shooter. He played great in this postseason run for the Lakers. He's going to be restricted too. D'Angelo Russell, though, I think he played himself out of a long-term deal. The way he played in this Western Conference Finals with the inefficiency, just how horrible he was, I think that took him out of a potential long-term deal. Now, maybe the Lakers bring him back on a 1-year deal. Maybe they do a sign and trade. Maybe he leaves to another team on a 1-year deal. But there's some other enticing options for the Lakers. And I think the most obvious one is Kyrie Irving. Look, the Lakers were in the mix for Kyrie when he requested the trade from the Brooklyn Nets, and I thought they were going to get him. I really thought the Lakers were going to land Kyrie at the deadline. They didn't, obviously, and they get these other guys. But with the way the season ended for the Lakers, with LeBron getting up there in age, 39, potentially leaving the club pretty soon, whether it's retirement or free agency or trade or whatever, I think it's a potential. I think the Lakers really have to look at this as we can build around Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving for the next 3 to 4 years. If Kyrie just stays put and stays loyal to one team and actually plays, and Anthony Davis, Anthony Davis only has 2 years left on his contract too. I think the Lakers will seriously look at bringing in Kyrie Irving. And at this point, I'm not opposed to that as a Lakers fan. I wasn't really super into bringing Kyrie Irving after we made the trade for Vanderbilt, Russell, Beasley, and these guys. But Beasley not playing and D'Lo playing so poorly in this postseason run for the Lakers, I think adding Kyrie Irving would be great. And I know you're going to lose a lot of depth. You're probably going to have to lose Rui Hachimura and Austin Reeves. But if you can bring in Kyrie Irving to pair him with Anthony Davis and then LeBron for at least a season or two, I think the Lakers are still one of the favorites to win the title. And then this report came out last night that the Lakers are interested and they're going to have conversations internally about bringing in Trae Young, trying to trade for the Atlanta Hawks superstar guard Trae Young. And look, Trae Young hasn't requested a trade formally yet. He hasn't really been in many trade rumors, but with the recent lack of postseason success for the Atlanta Hawks and how poorly they played in the regular season, I wouldn't be surprised if Trae Young requests a trade or if the Hawks try to change up, make some big kind of move. And I don't know if they would be the ones to trade Trae Young without him requesting a trade. But it is definitely something to think about, right? I don't like the idea. I don't really like the fit of Trae Young on the Lakers. But then again, you're adding one of the best young players in the game. I know he's one of the worst. He is the worst defender in basketball, but his offense, what he's able to do, shooting from three, his playmaking is very, very good. But I'd rather have Kyrie Irving. If I could choose which of the three guards I'd want to bring in, Kyrie, Trae Young, or D'Lo, it would be Kyrie, and then it would be Trae Young, and then D'Angelo Russell coming in third place. So the Lakers got a lot of things to do this offseason. Figure out if LeBron is going to return, and then what you're going to do with your guys. Reeves, Rui, D'Lo. You're going to bring in Kyrie. You're going to trade Anthony Davis. For some reason, that's being talked about. But yeah, Lakers get swept. Nuggets go to the finals. On the Eastern Conference side of things, the Heat are up 3-0. The 8th seed up 3-0 on the 2 seed. Game 3 was on Sunday. Heat obviously won this game 128-102. Horrible performance from the Celtics. A lot of people are talking about how they kind of quit Game 3. They basically gave up and waved the white flag in this game. First of all, Joe Mazzulla, the head coach, I think is a very look. He did great in the regular season, but what he's done in these playoffs, lack of adjustments, lack of game plan and readiness and preparedness for this matchup, for these games, really, really shows. Tatum had 14 points, 1 for 7 3-point shooting. Jaylen Brown had 12, 0 for 7 from 3 in this game for the Celtics. And this was a game where for the Heat, Jimmy Butler only had 16 points and shot 5 for 13. Bam had 13 points. And you were able to allow Gabe Vincent to have 29 points, 6 for 9 shooting from 3. Duncan Robinson had 22 points, 5 for 7 3-point shooting. And Caleb Martin had 18 points and 4 for 7 from 3. And you allowed the Miami Heat to shoot 54% from beyond the arc. So Joe Mazzulla is a problem for the Celtics. I think unless he wins the title, he's probably going to be let go as the coach. Tatum's inefficiency and inability to score has been a problem, and Jaylen Brown as well. I know Tatum about a week ago had his great 51-point performance in Game 7 against the Sixers, but since then he's really done nothing offensively to help out this Celtics squad. So I think Miami's going to sweep them. They play tonight. I think Miami will win Game 4 at home and then go on to face the Denver Nuggets in the NBA Finals. All right, finally on today's episode, MLB Power Rankings for this week. usually every Monday, but this is a Tuesday episode. All right, here we go. Number one team for the 7th straight week, Tampa Bay Rays, 35-14 on the season. Took 2 out of 3 games from the Milwaukee Brewers, 1 on 3 from the Mets last week. No change for them. They're still clearly and easily the best team in Major League Baseball. Number 2 is going to remain the same. Baltimore Orioles, 31-16. Split the series with the Angels last week, but they did sweep the Toronto Blue Jays, one of the better teams in baseball. I mean, not on this week's power rankings. I have them, pretty far down there compared to last week. Number 3 is the Dodgers, also here from last week, staying the same, 30-19 on the season. Took 2 out of 3 from the Twins, but they did lose 3 out of 4 games to the St. Louis Cardinals. This Dodgers team is still great. Started off the season the first 2 weeks of the season, or first 3 weeks of the season, I had them ranked 15. Now they're all the way back to where they should be all season long in the top 3. Number 4 is the Astros, 28-19 on the season. They swept the A's and the Cubs, two of the worst teams in baseball, but they are up 7 spots this week. The Braves, they moved up a spot. They're 29-18, took 2 out of 3 from the Rangers and the Mariners this past week. Number 6 is the Rangers, 29-18 on the year, swept the Rockies. But they did lose 2 out of 3 to the Atlanta Braves. Number 7 is the Yankees, 29-20, swept the Reds and took 3 out of 4 from the Blue Jays. Number 8, Diamondbacks, 28-20, 2 out of 3 from the Pirates and the Oakland A's last week. Number 9 is the Red Sox, 26-22, 2 out of 3 from the Mariners and the Padres last week. And then rounding out the top 10 is the Angels, 26-23 on the year. Split the series with the Orioles and took 2 out of 3 from the Twins. Going through the rest here, the Mets are at 11, Brewers are at 12, Twins are at 13, Pirates at 14, Blue Jays at 15, Marlins 16, 17 Giants, 18 Mariners, 19 Phillies, 20 Cardinals, 21 Padres, 22 Tigers, 23 Guardians, 24 Cubs, 25 Nationals, Reds at 26, White Sox 28, Rockies 28, Royals 29, and the A's sitting at 30 with a record of 10-39 on the year. So that'll do it for this episode of the franchise. A pretty ass episode, I'm not even going to lie. Yeah.